Greetings, Des King from kskdesign.com.au, and in this video I'll show you how I shaped the headrest for the beautiful Howell Taylor rocking chair using a bandsaw, Japanese hand planes or kanna, and a random orbital sander. This is the headrest and it was joined quite some time ago. It consists of 6 individual pieces and they've been coopered to give roughly a 20-degree sweep. How I'll shape the headrest is I'll take the headrest sweep template, place it on the front and clearly mark a line along the front of the headrest. Take that to the bandsaw and cut on the waist side of that line. I'll then take the Japanese hand plane, the soriganna or compass plane, in this case it's a small 36mm soriganna, and use this to plane down to that line. Once I've done that, I'll then take the random orbital sander to smooth out the finish of the front. When the front's been smoothed, I'll then take either a pair of compasses or digital calipers, and using the smooth front of the headrest as a guide, mark back just over 1¼ inches. I'll then take a pencil and clearly mark that line that I just scribed in the top. Back to the bandsaw, and again I'll cut on the waist side of that line to shape the back. Once I've done that, I'll then use a small hiragana, in this case just a 48mm hiragana, to then plane the back of the headrest down to that line. Again, I'll then use the random orbital sander to give a nice smooth finish to the back. What I should end up with is a headrest that's just over 1¼ inches thick, with the top and the bottom perfectly square to the smooth front and the back. So first I'll mark the front. I've clearly marked the front of the headrest, so I'll take it down to the bandsaw and cut on the waist side of that line. For this process I use a 3/4 inch blade with teeth set at 1 tooth per inch. It's a fairly coarse cut, but it's a very quick cut. So the bandsaw has been set up, tuned, and it's all set to go. But first, don't forget all your safety gear. And there we have it. As I said, a fairly coarse cut, but a very quick cut. Well, the headrest has been set in the vise, but there's nothing worse than trying to plane with a dull blade. So first, off to the stones. Before sharpening, you should always make sure that your stones are clean and flat. For sharpening, I use the Shapton's Professional series of stones. They're a ceramic stone. I like them, but any stone will do. The important thing is that they have to be clean and they have to be flat. If they're not flat, you're always going to be battling uphill to get a sharp edge on your blade. For planing, I normally start off with 1000 grit, then on to 1500, 5000, and in most cases I finish off with 8000 grit. If I'm finishing a piece and won't be using any sandpaper but just want a nice clean hand plane finish, I'll take the blade up to 12,000 grit. But in most cases there's no need for that. In the planing I do today, because it's going to be cross grain, 8000 grit is more than sufficient. For chisels I normally stop at 5000 grit. I see no reason to go any higher than 5,000. To me, all it's doing is just taking extra time. Time that should be spent on doing the actual work. My chisels at 5000 grit are very sharp and they retain their edge very well. So first thing, I'll start off by flattening the stones. All my stones are now clean and flat, and I'll start off with the 1000 grit. This is the 36mm Soriganna blade. As you can see, it's quite a small blade compared to the standard blade in my 70mm Hiraganna. So the grip for the small blade is going to be different from the grip that I use to sharpen the larger blade. This is something that you're going to have to work out with the size of your hand and what is generally comfortable for you. Make sure the stone is nice and damp. Find a comfortable grip. And just take short strokes. Using thirds of the stone. Making sure you use all of the stone and don't press down too hard. That's got a nice burr. Now onto the 1500. Once you've got an even scratch pattern, move on to the next grit, which in this case will be the 5000 grit. Again, just take it easy. No need to rush this process. Work in thirds using the whole stone. Work in thirds. And as you move from third to third, generally keep your eyes directly above the blade. And again, let the stone do the cutting. Don't apply too much pressure. Keep it nice and smooth. Again, once you've got that even scratch pattern across the entire width, move on to the next stone, which in our case is the 8000, which will be the final stone. Again, don't apply too much pressure, let the stone do all the work. And this is almost ready. Just a few final swipes. Once you're satisfied with the bevel area, it's then time to flatten the back. Thing is, when you're flattening the back, make sure that you don't press down at the back, otherwise you're going to end up with an ugly shaped ura to the blade. Okay, make sure that you feel as though you're almost lifting the back of the blade up. Don't lift it up, but just feel as though it's almost lifting up. Don't work it on a single line, otherwise you're going to have a ridge in the back of the blade. Okay? So feel as though you're lifting up the back, but don't actually lift it up. If you like, you can give it another go on the bevel. A couple of strokes on the bevel. And then a few more strokes on the back. Again, making sure that you don't allow the bottom of it to drop down. And I think that should just about do. That is very sharp.